Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Journey to DevelopHer Podcast. Today, we have our very special guest, Mr. KAYR from KayJay Consulting. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. I'm just so excited to be on the platform and just share my story and the way I think about things. So I'm pumped.
Awesome. And we're just so happy to have you here as well. I love first of all, your platform. I definitely checked out your Instagram page a few times over the last couple of months. So that's how we actually got connected. You're definitely giving a lot of value and information on your platform. So kudos to you. So everybody.
Thank you.
We'll give you his IG info at the end of the episode. And we're tonight or this evening is just going to talk about how you got into real estate, how you were able to actually build your real estate portfolio. It seems like you have an extensive portfolio, so we're going to talk about that today. So let's talk about your real estate journey and how did you start out?
So it's really fascinating because I grew up in Philadelphia, single parent household. My mother raised my six siblings and I. And I remember very vaguely in elementary school, we were poor to the point that an elementary teacher bought some KFC. She had my favorite original, but she messed up on the side. She had mashed potatoes and mac and cheese. I'm like, where's my coleslaw, girl? But you can't be beggars. Beggars can't be picky. But I remember looking up at the stars because the third floor was missing because our house had burned down. And at that point, at a young age, I knew that I wanted to build a legacy and I never wanted to be that broke again. So I started applying myself. I grew up in West Philadelphia and Pennsylvania and just said, look, let me buckle down and try to get out of this tough environment. So then I went off to Bowdoin College. Then I went to Wall Street. But all the time, I knew I wanted to be a real estate investor. So what I did was first get that intellectual capital, reading books, educate myself. Then I got that social capital, building some relationships with people that work in license and inspection, contractors. And then I got that financial capital by getting my first job. And so then I bought my first rental in 2009, a foreclosed property. And then by 2018, I got to 9 units. 2019, I got to 35 units. In 2020, I got to 105 units, and then I retired. Nice. So now I run a property management business, landscaping business. I have 85 units in the Philadelphia area and 20 units in the Harrisburg area. The biggest one is a 24-unit apartment building, and 14 of my 105 rental units are single-family homes. So that's how I got into the business.
That's a beautiful, extensive portfolio. So just like the average person, you started with, I'm assuming, a very low down payment FHA or conventional mortgage, correct?
So the way I started, definitely put it in my personal name. But what I did is I use, like, they have the conventional, but if you put it in your personal name, you could use a FHA. You also, if you're a veteran, you can put 0% down. If you're a doctor or a lawyer, 0% down. What I did is I went to like Franklin Mint Credit Union and American Heritage Federal Credit Union, and they let you put 15% down if it's in your personal name. So I bought something for $40,000 with a tenant inside, which means I only had to put $6,000 down. And then I had used one of my credit cards to do creative financing and got like a promotion 15 months and $15,000, no interest. I bought that house for $40,000, put 15% down, then used $17,000 to rehab it, and it appraised for $146,000. I put that $101,000 aside in my bank account and kept working my 9 to 5. So that's why it took me like the first 9 years to build up that portfolio, because I said I want to take my time versus trying to rush and run other people's races.
Right. So, I mean, I love that approach. I always tell people, especially newer investors, that wants to get into investing, I'm always letting them know to start out in a cheaper market, right? Don't go in these 6-digit markets.
I agree.
Thinking you're going to get far and, be able to really stack up your portfolio quickly. So I always recommend to start in the, in the 50 range, if you can find something in the 30 range, because the down payment is going to be very low. And believe it or not, if it is going to appraise in the 6 digits, you're able to leverage the deal much better. And there are a few markets we know, the Clevelands, the Detroit, Chicago no longer, but Philly used to be that market. Now you have to go to like Chester and all.
Yeah, if you're lucky, you still you can find a few in Philly, but it's a lot harder. It's not like the way it used to be.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they had 4-story buildings for like $2,000
Oh
a
yeah.
couple years ago.
In 2018, I bought a house off of auction.com for $22,000. I put $17,000 in to fix it up, and it appraised for $115,000. So I got $86,000 out of that. And that was a REO property. But like last year, I bought 5 properties in Harrisburg, 5 single family houses right next to each other. Bang,
Okay.
bang, 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 bang. 61, 621, 623, 625, da da da.
Right.
Dolphin Street, and I bought all 5 for $185,000. So that's
That was a great deal.
$37,000 a house. I didn't do anything to the inside or the outside, and I got a 30% cash on cash return. So you definitely just got to get in the game. You don't have to be an HGTV professional where you're gutting it down to the studs and everything. You can make a lot of money in this business without overextending yourself.
Agreed. So what was your method? Even though it took you 9 years, right? How did you actually scale? Like how did you get the next 50 units?
My plan was the first 9 years, you want to keep your 9-to-5 job. And once you keep your 9-to-5 job, you can live off that. So you don't have to spend any of your rental income. So like the first year I had $10,000 coming from one rental property in 2009. By the time I got to 2018, I had $85,000 of rental income coming from 9 properties. So throughout those first 9 years, I didn't touch any of that money from the refi cash out money or from the rental money. So you could build up several $100,000 in savings. Then when you go and buy these apartment buildings, so I bought like a triplex for $195,000 to make the math easy. Let's say $200,000, and I decided to put 30% down. That's $60,000. Where I get that money from the cash that I saved over that decade.
Talk about discipline.
Then I bought a 12 unit for $450,000. I put down a 25%. So that's $112,000. Because I had that bit savings, I was able to borrow from myself and never had to use a hard money lender. Then I went to go buy like a 5 unit in the Northeast for $385,000. Did the same thing, put 25% down. And so I didn't have to partner with anyone until 20. My first 40 units, I was all by myself because I was able to save my money from my 9-to-5. I was able to save some money from the 9-to-5, but save all my money from the rental income. And then I was able to scale up because you need the big down payments to do the bigger deals unless you're trying to do partnerships. And I wanted to keep majority of the ownership. So I said, it's no partnerships for me.
Exactly.
So that was my strategy.
Because you're a real estate coach, when you're teaching your students, they're not, most of them do have a 9-to-5, and we do recommend you stay in your 9-to-5.
Yes.
And so you can triple your income, right? In many cases. I don't know what you advise your students, but at this point, you need to be able to triple your income after taxes.
Oh yeah. I encourage my students always to keep your 9-to-5. Do not quit. I actually recommend you keep your 9-to-5 for the first 10 years that you're in real estate investing, and just run up the score as much as you can. Do refis, cash out, save the money. Get all the rental income, save the money. Keep the 9-to-5. Try to get as much experience and do your best at your 9-to-5 job so you can keep building that. You leverage the 9-to-5 job, the W-2, and build on your experience, and then you can scale up and go big. So I always tell my students to do that. And that's the reason why I actually don't encourage my students to go out and take out these big hard money loans and stuff like that, because it's very hard for you to be the GC, for you to do your 9-to-5, for you to be the real estate agent, for you to be the property manager. It's just so many things. I said, look, stick to your knitting, do your 9-to-5 really well, and set yourself up so that eventually you can leave your job. But don't be in a rush, because good things come to those who wait. So I tell people, take their time.
I do like that approach. I do teach from a different perspective. And the only reason why I do is because when I really went gung-ho with real estate investing, I lost my 9-to-5. I got fired, right? I got fired a couple times. So I just never looked back. However, yes, your paperwork, let's say you're going to you did yours different, but even if you're going to refi, sometimes they do want to look at income. They want to look at tax returns.
Oh yeah, that's what makes it easier.
Exactly. So I do encourage people, stack up on add a lot of doors to your portfolio and then retire. The 10-year approach, I think that's very wise though. I do think it's wise, especially if you have a family, you have children, you're going to need health insurance, things of that nature. But of course, people are looking to escape the rat race, but real estate is a rat race too. If you don't have your proper team in place, people don't realize that. It's actually worse than a rat race.
I agree.
It's like a jungle out here.
Yeah. And you'll have people quitting their 9-to-5s and they're only 22. They don't have any experience. So the banks don't take them seriously. They're overwhelmed. They don't have health care, everything. So I tell the young people, definitely make sure you save some money. Make sure you get some experience, have a job. Then it's hard to come up with all this money to go and start buying. Now, some people are exceptional. They can learn how to be a hard money. They know how to work with hard money lenders. They know how to be a GC. They know how to be a wholesaler, a developer, and they're only 22. But the vast majority of us, we need some time for seasoning and some time to build up those down payments and stack the odds in our favor. So I always tell people, like, if you're exceptional, go right down the street. But don't be blaming it on KAYR talking about, he told me quit my job and I'm only 22. I never told you to do that.
No. I would agree with you, retire at 30, 33. That was my retirement age, 33. I'm about to be 33.
Yes, I tell people it's okay to retire in your 30s. There's no reason you gotta do it in your 20s. That's just crazy.
Now, on your projects, are you acting as a GC or do you have a great team in place for you?
So my philosophy has always been to approach it like I'm an NFL owner. Okay. And what I mean by that is, it is my job to come up with the vision for the franchise. It's my job to hire the coach who managed the day-to-day. So the coach could be the property manager or the real estate agent or what have you. And then it's my job to watch those two things take place from afar to make sure that they're unfolding. So I can focus on like, how many seats are we selling? What I mean by that is, if you have football seats, how productive is my franchise? How is it relative to other people? Am I getting the sponsorships? Meaning, do I have these strong relationships with banks? Is everything flowing and streamlined, the processes and systems? So I've always said, I'd rather get off the football field and get into the owner suite. So I had my 9-to-5. So I was happy to hire a general contractor where that's their expertise. I'm happy to hire a lawyer where that's their expertise to put LLCs together. I want to make sure everybody on my team is eating. I'm happy to hire a real estate agent, even though I have my license, because I want to make sure that I'm thinking like an owner and not like an employee. And so therefore, I set my system up so I don't have to worry about the day-to-day. Now, when I first started, I only had one unit. Yeah, I could do everything. But as you move up on the food chain, it is impossible to have 23 different buildings, 105 units, and all these different counties. You're trying to be the GC. It's just too much. It's just too much. So you got to put a team together.
Team is vital. You're nothing without your team in real estate. Nothing.
So I don't mind paying people.
Right. Or else it's not passive. It's literally an 18-hour job.
Exactly. That's why I
have a team in place.
I said, I ain't going downtown to be pulling some permits. I am not going to Home Depot. I'm not doing all this. I'd rather pay people. Hell no. It's like I left my 9-to-5 to go and take a new 9-to-5. Oh, hell to the no.
Exactly. Yeah, it's necessary. What market are you investing in right now?
So I'm invested. I have 20 units in the Harrisburg market, and I have 85 units in the Philadelphia area. So I'm all over. I'm in Philadelphia. I'm in Delaware County, the suburbs. So that's the areas that I look at. But my students, they invest around the country in Indiana and Columbus, Ohio, and Georgia and Birmingham and Maine and Massachusetts and Mexico. They're all over the place.
Awesome. And typically when you're teaching, what type of demographic are you looking at? Like, how do you know it's a good market to invest in?
So what we do is we have a proprietary approach where we do a funnel analysis. We start at the top of the market. And so we'll say, what state are you interested in? And then we start to do some analysis around crime, population, job growth, and all those different things. And then we narrow it down to a city or two. And then we narrow it down to 3 zip codes that we like to follow and go on a deep dive. And then we show you how to analyze the individual deals. And then we give you like a list of questions that you could ask the property manager, the real estate agent, the mortgage broker, the hard money lender, the banker, and all those different things, so that you're putting together a team and asking the right questions. And so that's how we tend to narrow our markets. So we let students pick whatever market they want, and we want them to fall in love with the numbers, not with emotion. So if the numbers say you can't invest in that city, then you got to go to the next city.
I respect that. And I'm about to ask you a question that's a little bit more shifted, and I'm sure you're going to be able to answer it. What do you think your purpose is?
So my purpose, I always tell people that when I was working on Wall Street, I was not a position-driven type of person. So I wasn't going after the job for a certain position. I was always purpose-driven. So for me, my purpose was to build a legacy, was to create transformational wealth. People say, KR, where do you want to be in the next 5 years? I don't really care about having 1,000 units. What I really care about is, like, for instance, transformational wealth. And that's pretty much left to right. So, generational wealth, I buy a house and then in 40 years, my children will have a house. What transformational wealth is, you're focused on creating opportunities for people around you. So even though I have my real estate license, convinced my brother to get his real estate license. So when I do $1 million deal, he gets a 3% commission. He gets $30,000. He was able to use that commission to buy for a down payment to buy a house in Abington, Pennsylvania. So he and his 5 children and wife can live in a better neighborhood. Then he works on another deal with me. He's able to gift his in-laws $8,000. They move out of an apartment and now they own a duplex and they're landlords. So transformational wealth is happening today. My business partner in 2018 had 0 units. Now he has 60 doors. He wasn't a millionaire. Now he's a millionaire. So my thing over the next 5 years or 10 years is that I want everybody that's in my circle and also my students, I want to create as many millionaires as possible. I don't just want you to be able to eat in my zip code. I want you to be able to live in my zip code. So that's what my purpose is right now. It's to educate people in an affordable way and inspire them.
I love it. I love it. So let's say I'm a student. I come to your monthly course, pop up, whatever you got going on, your mentorship. And how much money do I need to get started?
So for my course, our course is only $349 and it's a one-time cost. So we will give you the 4 hours educational on Zoom. And then what we do is give you all the templates and we give you like an ebook with 20 something pages. And then we do once a month check-ins. You can ask questions whenever you want. And you get access to my team and I, and also everybody that we know around the country, no additional charge. What we tell people is that we want you to be very thoughtful and strategic. So the reason why we work with you for 12 months is 1, you can work on your credit score. 2, you can work on understanding the material. And 3, you can work on your down payment. Whether that is coming up with creative financing or joining like a neighborhood lift program, we tell people that it depends on what you really want. Like if you have we at least tell you to save $6,000 because you can invest somewhere in the country and put down 20% or 15%, buy a house for $30,000 and it's already rented. You're getting your feet wet. You don't have to be like all these other people trying to be like you're fantastic. If you can get that one house making, let's say 300, or let's say that one house give you $4,000 in 10 years, now you're making $40,000 free cash flow in addition to having your job. That is life changing. So we tell people at the minimum, we want you to at least get ready to save $500 a month when you're taking a course. So you can have that savings or think about creative financing, because we don't encourage people to take on so much risk at the beginning.
Right. So they need to work on their credit, have at least $6,000. We're not encouraging them to use hard money in your program.
Not necessarily, but we do have contacts, hard money lenders, but I don't want all the students getting mad at me if they just started and they're going to curse me out saying, you told me I can take a $150,000 loan out and now I don't know what I'm doing. So I say, let's work up to take it on big risks. Right.
No, I agree with that. They will blame you for everything.
They will. Oh my God. They will. They will be cursing you out.
Yeah. But, hard money, how can I put this? When handled with care, can definitely allow people to get into the game quicker and do what they need to do. As long as you're getting in and out, that's the goal. Refinancing as soon as possible, or selling. But in this case, we're holding. So refinancing within 30 days, I say, or I think you have to season it for 30 days in many cases.
Yeah.
So as soon as you get in many cases, if your students is buying homes with tenants already occupied, spruce up the bathrooms in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, exactly. That you can
out.
definitely do that. Yeah. Now I do have some students who are more experienced. And so we definitely explain hard money lending, private lending, and all those different things. But I want to be able to cater to, I have one course which is primarily for people that are in the beginning to the mid-level. So they've been doing this, but they're not really, they know how to run, they know how to throw, they know how to catch. My job is to teach them how to be a better runner, a better thrower, and a better catcher. So I give them a framework. And then I have a complex course, which is going to be our apartment course. And that course is actually 6 hours. It teaches you how to invest in apartment buildings and up. So that's you learn about syndication. That's a whole different beast. So I try to tell people, look, we're going to give you the tools. Just take your time. You don't have to be in a rush. I always tell people you can't rush greatness. So you got to take your time. But it's out there. There's a lot of money out there. I just don't want my students being mad at me. After you've done a couple, then you can go play in a hard money lane.
I agree. That's great advisement. That's definitely great advisement. So what is in the future for Mr. KR? Like, what are your ultimate real estate goals?
So I'm very serious about transformational wealth. That is like my number one thing. And the way I do that is, for instance, I'll start an LLC. I'm starting a new LLC, KJ3 Management LLC. And I'm going to give my brother 5% equity. He doesn't have to put any money in. So what happens is that some of us, we are never invited to the table. And then some of us start to create our own table and forget to invite people. So my number one objective is to figure out ways to invite people to my table that I create and teach people how to create their own table in real estate, to start first buying single family homes, then buying apartment buildings like I do, value add. I think that will be the biggest legacy, because once I used to make $10,000 a year. Then in 2009, then I made $85,000 a year in rental income. And now I make close to $100,000 every month in rental income. Once you start making a certain amount of money, it's all start to be the same. It's not like, even if you get to 200,000, when you got to 100K a month, it was a lot. So you start to say, let me see, what can I do? Because you don't want your friends and family members to be envy, and it can be very lonely at the top. So you want to start motivating and helping other people climb up the ladder. Like, yo, we good, son. The whole team is good. So that's what I really love.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Especially, so definitely your family members. Like, I don't even charge them. That's free. I mean, for coaching, why would I say that? I do it for free, whatever. And I think you and I spoke about this in the past, incentivizing the contractors, right? Like the people that work in your immediate team, even the lawyers, if you have to, title companies, whoever, but specifically the contractors, so that you know they are going to do what they say they're going to do and have your back. Because as we stated before, that can make or break your deal, literally.
So like my contractors, I'm looking into ways to giving them equity. My lawyer just signed up for my real estate boot camp because he's like, I've been working with you. I don't know what the hell you're doing, but I need to learn. So he took the course. So
that's awesome.
And he is an older guy. So the thing is that I want everybody to be empowered that's around me, because I think that's just going to motivate people. It's going to inspire their kids. They're going to be like, look, I'm not just an employee. I feel as though I'm a part of something. And so that's what I'm really spending my time on. But of course, I will continue to buy apartment buildings or rental units and stuff. That's just inevitable because you have so much cash coming in. And like I started like a vending machine business and all these other types of businesses, consulting business or landscaping business. It's just that when you have a whole lot of cash coming in, you can figure out ways to deploy it, whether it's in stocks and all these different things. But for me, it was like, hey, once I got to the 100 unit level, I feel as though I'm at a really good place that I don't have to chase opportunities. People used to say, man, you moving mad slow. You've been in the game for like a decade. You only got like 9 houses. Yo, what you doing, son? And they didn't realize that I was running my own race. I was just building up the cash so I can go big versus just going small.
In real estate, you have to run your own race. If you're paying attention to what other people are doing, you can easily fumble the ball, okay? Pay attention to yourself. Stay off of social media. I feel like a lot of people, they're in competition with people they don't even know. And I'm in competition with myself, so.
Exactly. That's the way I look at it.
Exactly.
I'm good.
Yep. And another thing is, I love your realistic approach, because again, a lot of individuals, one, they're in a dire need to get out of their jobs. A lot of people do really hate their I don't want to say hate their lives, but they do, or at least their work life, right?
That's true.
So they're trying to get out. They're just not happy. They went to school all these years. They're still paying back student loans. They're not even making the money, the yearly wage of the student loans. They're making probably half of that, right? It's just a mess. Do you encourage people? I mean, I don't know. Are you a parent?
No, but I've always helped take care of my nieces and nephews.
Oh, that's fine.
Go ahead.
No. I mean, that's great. Uncles and aunties are the best, trust me. And I already know what your answer is. Do you encourage your nieces and nephews to actually go to college? Would you encourage them to do so?
Oh, I actually encourage my nieces and nephews to follow whatever path they really believe in. Because I think if you force people to do something, then it's not going to work. So I tell them, look, you want to stack the odds in your favor. So for me, I decided to go to college because I was poor as hell. And that was just a surefire way to make sure I get to sit at certain tables and get exposure to certain races. I went to a predominantly Black high school and middle school and elementary. And so I went to a predominantly white school so I could figure out how to interact in different worlds. So for me, I use that to my advantage. But I have some nieces and nephews that are not in college and they're doing their thing. Like one of my nephews is running a restaurant. He's not in college. Then I have another niece and she's killing it. She's a senior. So I think people got to figure out what their real passion is and how they can succeed. So for me, I'm open to creativity. You just got to, wherever you are, cash your bucket, and you better be really good at what you're doing if you're not going to take the surefire ways that have good backup plans. So if you went to college, and even if you were a D student and you need to get a certain job at McDonald's or something, you can be a manager because you have that BA, or you can go to Pizza Hut or something, or you can become a school teacher. And in other ways, you can't do it because you don't have that degree.
That's true. That's very, very true. I'm still pro college, even though I feel like I could have went without it, but I wanted to be a lawyer, so it was a little different. And I still might be a lawyer. Who knows? But I needed to go. I was a little rough.
Oh yeah, I knew I wanted to go. I knew I wanted to go to college since I was younger. I knew I wanted to go to an Ivy League school.
Okay, I didn't go Ivy League, so kudos to you.
I went to Dartmouth.
That's amazing.
Yeah, at Hanover, New Hampshire. And so for me, I turned my whole life around being a knucklehead in middle school, just getting C's and D's and having fun and stuff. And one of my friends wrote my autograph book. I can't believe you made it. I was like, you can't believe I made it out of 8th grade? I know I hooky and I smoke a little bit and drink a little bit, but damn, you really lost hope. And then I graduated from high school as valedictorian, and I was on the debate team, the track team, the cross country team, played football, did all these different things, school president, class president. So I did a whole 180, but I knew that I wanted to be in certain rooms, and the way America is set up is that it's very hard to get in those rooms unless you're extraordinarily successful and exceptional without any degrees. So I said, let me stack the odds in my favor so I can get a job on Wall Street, so I can get exposure to certain people and certain cultures. So college for me, I was a big proponent of college. I think people should do whatever's going to stack the odds in their favor.
I agree. So tell us, for all these newbie investors that think they're going to come work for you, you're going to make them not for you, but with you. You're going to coach them. You're going to make them a microwave millionaire.
Microwave.
Yeah. What type? So I'm assuming you're allowing anyone to be coached by you. So
yes, for our course. Yeah, anyone can sign up for the course.
So that's good, because I don't work with anybody. People just do they do the most. But what characteristics you think an individual needs to have to really have longevity in this business?
So I think, especially if you're young or new to the business, even if you're not
old,
young,
what if you're old?
Even if you're older, the number one thing what I mean by new is you're a newbie. You're new to the industry.
Newbie, right.
So you're like a baby. You could be 60, but you're still an infant. So in my eyes, I think what you have to do is make up whatever you lack in terms of on-the-job experience with your enthusiasm and your ability to work long hours. So you got to say you're fired up. You don't know what the hell you're doing, but you're coming to like KAYR saying, oh my goodness, KAYR, look, I'm so excited. just let me know how I can help. If you need me to get you paper towel, if you need me to go and get you some pencils, if you need me to make a PowerPoint presentation, you need me to do a walkthrough, whatever, show me that enthusiasm and ability to work, because that's one thing you can't teach as a person that is excited and motivated and just really, really committed. The other thing you want to do if you're a newbie is whatever your coach tell you that is instructive and positive, you want to implement it to let them know that you do not waste time and that you execute when someone gives you good instruction. So I think those things are very, very important. Being able to show that you're enthusiastic, being able to show that you implement stuff, that will give you longevity in this business. And learn how to interact with people from different walks of life. Don't never get too high, never get too low. Those are the three things I would tell someone.
Yeah. And execution is so important. As they say, success loves speed. Do things right away, especially when told. There's so many people I've came across 2-3 years ago. Oh, I'm going to buy a house. And now everybody's so priced out. They can't even buy a house in Newark.
Sure.
And I remember when the same houses was like 150,000. And I'm just like, I don't know where you're going to live, but you can't live in Newark. Sorry. It's just, unless I hope that, the Newark Land Bank will have some deals for people, but it's really sad that hundreds of thousands of dollars and a lost opportunity, and they can't stay in their own communities, or at least become a homeowner in their own communities. So
I agree.
We'll say success loves speed and execute now, especially when you're getting coached by KAYR or me. Do what we say right away, right? But KAYR, this was great. Let everybody know how they can keep in contact with you and where they can actually find your course online.
So you can follow me at KayJay Consulting. Our website is www.kayjayconsulting.net, and our IG is KAYJAYCONSULTING. So those are the best spots to hit me up and follow me, learn about what we're doing. We have an apartment course and we have a single family course, which is 1 to 4 units. Every Monday we do Monday motivations. Tuesdays we do Tuesday tips, Wednesday workout tips, and every Friday financial literacy. And every Tuesday I go live for 30 minutes at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So definitely check us out. We're out to educate and elevate.
Amen to that. I love that. Awesome. So we have to meet in person soon because you're right in New York City. I'm in Jersey.
Yes,
so
definitely.
We'll definitely link up soon. Thank you for coming on here. If you need me for anything or whatever, vice versa, I hope I can come to you and ask for your support. And it was great. So thanks for coming on and
Thank you too. It was fun.
Bye.
All right. Take care.
Take care.